I was wearing the shirt. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. There we go. Sandro the superfan. Sandro, what's your special notification? Like, what sound do you have there? JQ goes live. What does your phone do? We're going to talk about tires today. Just going to wait for people to tune in. I'm busy. I need to pack my stuff here. Just entertain yourselves for a while. No sound. How can you know if there's no sound? Viva Mexico! Mexico in the house. No, Sandro has no sound. 150. Okay, let's do 150. I'm just gonna keep working here. Screw you guys. Office is a mess. David Ronefalk, being a smartass. Is that the newest shirt you have? Oh my god, you are on a budget. I know. I'm on the B team. B team for AKA. I don't get the new shit. I got one shirt because I had to have this shirt for the team picture in Italy. Italy Worlds 2014. That's when I got this shirt. And today, incredibly, I was wearing this shirt. And then someone said, we need to talk about tires. There we go. I'm not a world champion like you, David. JQ, Drake came here to race with us. You need to also come here. Where are you from, Brazil? Buy me a flight ticket, I'll be down there. It's not like Adam paid to go. Over 100. We're getting there, we're getting there. Shit, I'm gonna have to think of something good to say. That's how I clean the office. A lot of people joining. That's good. Hey, we have to spam Adam, remember. Go ahead and spam that guy. Don't forget, spam away, share this video. Make this thing work. Here I go. I'm gonna tag Adam Drake and say, Adam Drake, here's some ideas for your next video. For your next Mugen Seiki YouTube video. Done, he's tagged. How many days until I'm blocked? What do you think? How long will this take? Well, there we go. It even showed up here. Adam Drake, here's some ideas for your next Mugen Seiki YouTube video. Talk about inserts. Always use the same inserts. Eight scale is easy. 116, it's going up. The Adam Drake fan base has began tuning in. What was I doing? I'm reorganizing all my boxes because I have to start traveling soon. Look, this is what I ended up with. See, David, if you're still on there, I'm definitely on the B team. That's my engine parts. This is like, after I emptied my boxes of all the shit that's not needed, here we go. Thanks, Reds. Thanks for the great support. Yeah. Exactly. David has a good point. Adam's not going to block me because he needs ideas for his show. So true. So true. Saves on travel weight. That's why I'm repacking. Repacking. There goes the AK and Reds deal. Maybe they should improve my deal a bit. And treat me like a club racer. Yeah, it's also cheaper when I lose my bags. I don't lose so much. Are you excited to battle the Drake in 40 plus soon? Well, that's going to be still another 6 years, so I'm pretty sure he'll have retired by then. Or maybe he's going to be like Konai. But if they have a Legends class in Nitro Challenge, then I'll do that. Are they going to have a Legends class? How much do I spend on bags? Normally I have one extra bag, so whatever the extra bag costs, that's what I spend. $143. I'm almost at the point where I'm gonna have to start the show. Going down one. Why aren't you people sharing this? Yeah. We're gonna talk about tires. Don't worry. Just need 150 people first. I'm gonna waste my time. Got better things to do. Like pack my spares. $143 again. Going up, going down. How long does it take to pack? Like, this is gonna take a week. It's gonna take a solid week of going through everything. I've been off the grid for a couple of months. All new shit. New season. Built a couple of cars. New parts. 145. Oh no, we're so close. One day we're gonna fail. We're not gonna reach the goal, and I'm just never gonna start the show. It's gonna be such a great day. Maybe it's today. It's going down again. 135. See? Maybe it's my lucky day. Packed for Friday yet? No. No, I haven't. I'm basically only bringing you whatever shit you wanted. And yeah, some clothes. Man, it's really looking bad. It's going down. 134. It's like, I'll just be packing then. That's fine, that's fine. Adam must have made a video about tires. No one wants to learn anything about tires. Oh well. David has to leave. Such is life. We can't win them all. I'm staying in Finland at the moment. Finland. aka tire selection guide is out of date. I haven't checked it, so I wouldn't know. Someone definitely pissed in your Frosties this morning. No, I don't eat Frosties. Timber! It's going down again. So close. So close, but so far. Well, I might as well unpack what I got in the mail today. Just another day at the JQ office. Scrap your crap, dudes. Scrap your crap. It's like Christmas. Where's this from? Belgium. I got a car from Belgium. Woo, baby. Luxury shit. Oh, crap. Breaking my box here. You won't believe what I got. Look at this. Look at this thing. This thing is brand new. Look at that. Got some luxury in the house. Look at that, man. Look at this baby. Look at this baby. I'd say it looks pretty good. Someone was desperate for some JQ Black Edition. That's all I know. Where's the center diff? That's in here, it's fucked. Even got some spares. Got the old manual. This looks like a pretty serious deal, this thing. Drive shaft pin servicing. Interesting stuff. Installing pivot balls into composite ball joints. Okay. Very nice. Nicely illustrated manual. Very luxury. I like it. Got some oils. Good deal on in all, I think. Good deal. Yeah, nice. Got myself some luxury. Feel pretty happy about this deal. And got a number 1 there. This guy must have been really good too. So yeah, just keep those cards rolling in. Scrap your crap. Any 8-scale buggies will give you a good price. You get a new Black Edition or Grey Edition and we'll take care of your old crap for you. I see it like a public service, really. Just take them off your hands. This one is still my favorite though. Like, I can't get enough of this. Today I actually got an offer for two Durangos. One guy has 2 of them. It's like, what can I get for these? I'd be like, that's 400 euros, you know? 400 euros for 2. So hopefully I will be getting 2 Durangos very soon. I'm super excited about that, to be honest. Here's another thing I've been up to. See this? Husky Rockstar. Oh yeah, man. Got some Husky love. Ice One Racing. You know Kimi Räikkönen's motocross team? Ice One. The official Husqvarna Rockstar Energy, whatever they're called. Well, the team manager for that team is Finnish, and he bought a couple of ready-to-runs. I don't know, a couple of years ago, a year ago maybe? Yeah, maybe it was a year ago. So I'm going to the Motocross of Nations, and he's going to be there, so I'm taking him these 2 bodies. There we go, Iceman. Kimi's long drink. He has his own long drink, Iceman. So we have a Husky Iceman and Rockstar Husky body for his ready to runs. Here's a wing skin. Mau Graphics. See? Italian Mau Graphics. He knows what he's doing. He's a bit Italian, you know. I send him emails like, hey, you need to do this, and you kind of need to. You kind of need to be tough on him, you know. He's a bit like, nah, Italian, lazy, you know. You're like, hey, listen, man, get this shit done. And then he's kind of learned now. I feel like now I just email him and he does a good job immediately. Sometimes he tries to be lazy, and I'm just like, Mao, that sucks. I know you can do a lot better. That's just, it's not gonna cut it, Mao. Then it's like, okay, and then he's like start to complain, give some excuses, calls me some names, and then I'm just like, no, listen. I'm being serious here. This is really shit. You can do a lot better. Stop with the excuses. And then, lo and behold, awesome job. See, sometimes you just have to give some people some shit, and then they'll do it. So, anyway, that's that. Got some nice ready to run bodies. Got a new X-ray. We got over 150 people. I guess we can talk tires. I missed all your comments. I was just so excited. What do you do with them? I don't know. The Durangos I already know. I'm just not going to tell you. Durangos, you're going to see some video. The rest, probably just sell them. Like, I don't know. eBay them. I told him to contact you. Thought that would make your day. What are you talking about? What's Liam talking about? Oh, the guy with the Durangos. I'll give you £5 if you crush the X-ray. We're gonna save all the excitement for Durangos, most definitely. Serious about wrenching. Didn't send my DNX8 yet. Well, come on! What are you waiting for? JQ, I have years of RC racing and I study a lot. And I tried a lot. Trust me, hoodie, setup, book, or others don't explain exactly how roll centers work. Rising or lowering, short or longer, sometimes opposite. Physics theory on RC cars, it's sometimes different than real cars or physics theory. No, it's not. It's not different. It's the same. It really is. Husky. Mao's the man. Yes, he is. When he's not crying or complaining, he's a good guy. How many scrap cars so far? Actually, there's 2. I don't know exactly. Like, I think about 20. About 20 are like done deals. Because there's 2 at Revelation, for example, in America. A 3rd one is on the way. Maybe it's there now. Then I've got some. Then Sweden, dealer in Sweden has. Then a guy in New Zealand has 1 or 2. So they are really spread out. My dealers have been doing this too, not just me. So that's good. And there's a whole bunch which the people have said that they're going to do the deal, but I haven't received any cars, so I don't know yet. Adam says, I've already crushed Durango. Very true. Very true. I like your style. Can I send 2 cars in? GS Storm ready to run, and then a Gamma A8. Yes, you can. But it's just 1 car for 1 purchase. So you're going to have to buy 2 cars then. When will you reveal the Durango plan? I'm not exactly sure. It's just going to be here over the next weeks and months. I'm in no rush. We have time. Official dealer in Sweden, you can go to jqracing.se. I think that's the website. They have a web shop there. Hyper 7 is okay. Hyper 7 is okay, yes. Yeah. You can go through the dealer or me. You can do both. All dealers aren't doing it, but most of them should be. Okay, tires. Tires, you were requesting tire talk. Obviously, I mainly know AKA because I've been running for AKA for so long now. Since I can't remember when. When I ran for Proline. Then when I made my own car, I didn't run for anyone for a year or two, so I could run all the different tires, developing my car. And then I settled with AKA. I signed with them probably, trying to think, Worlds. Where were the 2012 Worlds? Argentina. I was already running AKA then. 2010 was, then I was open. So maybe 2011 or 12 I signed with AKA. So everything I'm going to say is mainly going to be for AKA drivers. I mean, the basics are the same, but I don't know about Proline compounds or J concepts or all of that. So I did zero preparation except I got some tires. And I don't exactly know what I'm supposed to say now. Where to start. Maybe start with tread pattern. And the questions. What's the advantage of a pre-glued over glue your own tires? Well, pre-glued is easier for sure. It's the best. Pre-glued's the way to go. Problem is tire brands don't give team drivers pre-glued tires because it costs more. So they save money and send their team drivers bulk tires, and drivers have to glue their own tires. So as long as they stay on, the pre-glueds are good. The AK's pre-glueds have stayed on, so they'd be good. If I could, I would only get pre-glueds and make my life easier. Don't go more than 5 minutes on the subject. Okay, let's do that. Let's actually do that now. Let's do an Adam Drake tire video. So what I need someone to do now is time this. We need to time this shit. I'm gonna go on Google. I'm gonna Google timer. You got to be shitting me. I think Google is listening. Can you do me a favor? This is freaking me out now. Seriously. Seriously. Google timer and tell me what comes up. Because I just said how long I want to go for. And I Googled it, and I'll show you. This is crazy. Watch this. So I said, I'm going to Google a timer. What the? How did they know? How did they know to put it at 5 minutes? That is crazy. Okay, so I'm going to start this now, and I'm going to explain to you everything about tires, just like Adam Drake would in 5 minutes. Okay, we're on. Okay, so tread patterns. Small, medium, big pin. The more dust and loamy the track is, the bigger pin you want to run. The more hard pack and less dusty the track is, the smaller pin you want to run. Okay, we covered that. That's pretty much all there is to it. So now you know how to pick your tire. Compound. Compound, you normally want to go to a harder compound when the weather is really hot or when the track is very abrasive and high grip. Okay, we pretty much covered the compound. Now you know compound. And then you can also modify the tire. Like if it's very edgy, you can just cut the outside row of pins and it's not going to grab the bumps as much. It's not going to want to flip over. Then you can also cut the inside, which people overlook this often. You can cut the inside and that helps with the same thing. It's not going to catch as much, it's going to slide more. So just inside and outside, if you cut pins, it's not going to be as edgy. Okay, so we covered tire modification. And, okay, we still have time. We've got plenty of time. The shape of the tire. So you look, this is the old gridiron. You see how it's kind of wide and the sidewall is really round. And then the new one is very straight sidewall and not as wide. The tire is narrower. So with the old one, it's more forgiving in the bumps. It doesn't want to catch them so much. Like the tire gives more, flexes more. It's more forgiving in bumps, but not as precise, not as fast really. New one, more precise, precise steering, traction, everything. The car feels more direct. So it's faster. That's why they went with this. But then it maybe catches more. That pretty much covers that. And then the different treads THEQuagraine has. So we have the small pin gridiron, and we have the impact medium pin. Then we have the really small indoor tire typo. And we have the chain link. Then we have city block. Sometimes you want to run city block front, I-beam rear. You'll get more steering. Alright, well I think we're pretty much done with tires now. Yeah, we even did it with like 2 minutes to spare. Okay, that was it. Done. Now we can do it how I would do it. So fuck the time limit. We're going to talk serious tire talk now. Okay, so we're going to start with treads. 90% of the time, I run gridirons or impacts. So these two tires are the ones that you need. If you run AKA, or if you run any other brand actually, you want a tire with small pins like this, and you want a tire with sort of medium pins, like an impact. And these will be good or okay on every track pretty much. I can't think of a track that I've been to where one of these tires wouldn't be good. So if you're on a budget, just get gridirons, impacts in the different compounds. And so if the track is very dusty and very loamy, a lot of loose stuff on the surface, even if it's a hard base and then there's a lot of loose stuff on the track surface, or if the whole track itself is fairly soft, then you want to run the impact, so bigger pins, because they dig through the dirt and they'll grip more. Then if the track is, let's say like neo-buggy, clay, surface is hard, not a lot of dust, in those conditions you want to run a smaller pin. And the reason is that the big pin bends a lot, there's a more deformation, it's slower. That's what I really think the reason is. It's not so much the traction, that you have more traction with a smaller pin, it's just that everything happens faster. You accelerate harder, more corner speed. There's less of the pin bending and the tire flexing and you're losing time because of that kind of stuff. It's more direct, fast. So basically you could say that you want to run as small of a pin as you can get away with. That's going to be the fastest way. And then the texture of the dirt and the track surface is going to determine what tire that is. A small pin can also be harder to drive. If the track gets bumpy and your car feels edgy, a bigger pin, because of what I explained, how it's not quite as direct, it won't be as aggressive on all the bumps. So a bigger pin tire will be easier to drive when the track gets really difficult. Also, if the track has a clean groove, but then it's dusty on the outside, you might be in a situation where the small pin tire is really good on the groove, but if you don't always stay there, it will be very loose. So in those situations too, a bigger pin tire might be slower when you're on the groove, but overall more consistent, because you can go offline a bit, you can make some mistakes, but you'll always have grip. So those could be things you consider when you choose between a smaller and a bigger pin tire. Compound comes into play also. So for me, I tend to run super soft, soft, or long way soft. Those are the three compounds that I run. And then there are some exceptions to this when we run clay compound. So I'll start with clay. So clay compound, you run at tracks like Neo, for example. The track is clay. Especially we've found when it's indoors, so there's no sunlight on the track, then clay compound just seems to be the best. There are some tracks, for example, last year I went to the track in Myrtle Beach for, what's that race called? The Fall Brawl. And I was really slow, but it turns out I was slow because people started running clay compound with additive. And I didn't have any clay compound, and I didn't have any additive. So I just ran the normal compounds, and I was just slow. My car felt good, but I was slow. So the clay compound is a very hard compound. So it makes the tire hard, it makes the pins hard. So similar to going from a big pin to a small pin. It's faster because the tire doesn't flex as much. But the additive makes it grip. So you have a hard compound, a clay compound, with additive, and that combination is just better than any of the regular compounds. You just can't get the same kind of traction and forward bite and corner speed with other tires. So in some circumstances when the track is right, you want to run the clay compound, but that's very rare. Over 90% of the tracks you run the super soft, soft, or the long way soft. And when it's cold, normally you can always get away with running super soft. There are maybe some situations where the tracks are very abrasive, and even in cold weather that tire wear is high and the grip is high, and then you can run soft. But I mean, probably 90% of the time when it's cold, like 10 degrees Celsius or lower, you'll always run super soft because the tracks just won't have the traction, or they will hold moisture, or it just won't be a condition where you want anything harder than a super soft. Liam is saying ultra soft sometimes. I never run that shit. I just run super soft. And most of the time when you run super soft, then you can run the gridiron because the tire doesn't wear out that quick. I also actually like the chain link. When it's super soft, I feel the impact is kind of a bit big and balloons a lot. I like chain link or gridiron in super soft. I forgot to say, when it's clay, when you run clay compound, you normally run something like this, like a typo. This works really good in clay. Okay. So yeah, compound. So when it's cold, normally the track is such that you can run a small pin and you run a soft compound. Then when the weather gets to about 20 degrees or more, you Americans, you can just Google this. I talk metric and Celsius. So when the weather gets to 20 and above, I actually feel that many people use tires wrong. Like they will run a compound based on tire wear and not based on performance and temperature. I think when it gets warm enough, you should switch to soft because soft will be faster and more consistent. But a lot of drivers stick to super soft. They'll run super soft while I'm running soft, and I try both, and I think soft is clearly better. So people stick to super soft too long and are too scared to run soft when they should actually be running soft. Soft will be more consistent. I think it has more grip because the pins don't bend. So you should try soft compound sooner, earlier. If the temperature goes up, just try soft compound. You might be surprised. And then, so it's not just like, even if there's no tire wear, but the weather, but the temperature is up and the sun is shining and the track is hot, you may still want to run a harder compound. So keep that in mind. Someone's asking about copying tread patterns. I'll talk about that too. Let me finish my thought here. And so then I'll basically run super soft, and then when it's warm, when I can get away with it, I run soft. Soft is, I feel, the best compound AKA offers. When the track is such that soft is the best, then AKA is the strongest, I feel. And then when the weather is hot and the track is very high grip and abrasive, so you can't run soft anymore because you feel like the car wants to go up on two wheels, the tires are wearing out, then you go to long way soft. And the long way soft, the feeling between soft and long way soft is that you have a bit less traction. That's what I always feel. Very similar, but just less traction. And it just lasts longer. So it's really good for mains. Where the regular soft would be slick, after the main, you still have like half the tread pattern left with the long way soft. So those three compounds, you can do any race, I feel. Except the exceptions like Neo Buggy where you need clay. But if you are just a hobby racer, how can I say, like this is your hobby, you want the best bang for your buck, and you run AKAs, I would get super soft and soft gridirons, and just a few super soft impacts, because I very rarely would run that, and then mainly soft impact, and then some long way soft impact. With those tires, you can go to any race and you won't be completely off the charts. Like, you'll be okay. The reason I wouldn't go to a long way soft gridiron is, this is now for nitro, at least. The mains are always long, and you'll just not be running a long way soft gridiron, I feel. Like, if you have to go to that compound, then you need a bigger tread anyway. I'm talking about gridirons and impacts now, but the trend now is to run something like the Proline Fugitive, or the smaller version they have of that. And the version for AKA is double down or zips. Now, my honest opinion is that I prefer the impacts to double down or zips, because double down or zips, they just don't have the grip for me. They aren't as consistent around the track for me, and zips are always slower. So maybe the Proline guys can run the Fugitive Light, that's what it's called. Fugitive Light, this like smaller pins than the impact, but more of them, more surface area. They can get away with it. That's kind of the thought behind the double down and the zips, but for me they don't work. So I very rarely run them, almost never. So yeah, I would say gridiron and impact from AK. That's the basics you need. Well, I said that clay compound is something you very rarely use. Neo Buggy, Fall Brawl, like very specialist situations you'll use that. Same for long way medium. It's very rare that you need that tire. Mostly you can get away with a long way soft. But if it's very hot and the track is very high grip and abrasive, then the long way medium could be the way to go. So maybe one race a year has a track like that. So for example, let's take races that you might know. Let's say Nitro Challenge. So at Nitro Challenge, a lot of people run super soft, especially say morning or night super soft gridirons. I feel like unless you are really actually running at night when it's really cold, then maybe you would run super soft. But all my heats basically are at times when I run soft compound. Many other people run super soft, I just run soft. I think it's way better. if the track is wet, then I'll run gridirons, but most of the time it's a kind of mixed stage. It's not really dry, it's not really wet. It's some sections are dry, some sections are wet. I'll just run soft impacts. It's the safest bet ever. So if the track is a bit more wet, more damp than you thought, soft impacts are still good. If it's drier than you thought, soft impacts are still good. So it's a very safe bet. And then for mains, if it's during the day, then I'll go to soft long way. So B main blues, if I'm in the B main, the sun is still up, it's 30 minutes or whatever, 20 minutes, I think it's 30 minutes. Long way soft, impact, safe bet. So yeah. Have you tried long way ultra soft? I don't even know what long way ultra soft is. See, I'm wearing the 2004 shirt, dude. What can I say? Zips and double downs have too much side bite. I kind of feel the same. Like zips and double downs, they don't have the forward bite. I get kind of sketched out and then they catch something. I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I wasting my time with these tires? And I put impacts on and I actually know what I'm doing. Like I have traction, I know when I'm sliding, I feel what the car is doing, I have forward bite. I'm like, fuck, this is so much easier. Just stick to this. Don't look at the fugitives, obviously they work different. So yeah, that covers that. Another race people might know, like the Bitty Design contest. So they run the track dry. I would get there, I would run soft impacts. Track is still dusty, it's warm, medium traction, soft impacts. Then it kind of depends what happens. If it rains or if it stays dry. What normally happens is the surface gets polished. And then it's actually difficult to decide what tires to run and what compounds to run. Soft is normally still good when the track gets polished and slippery, unless the tire wear is too high. And there, most of the time the tire wear is high. So it's slippery, but there is tire wear. And then you would go to a long wear soft. And on a track like that, then the problem really is to find the traction and the tire wear. So sometimes impacts are wearing out, but you can't go to a harder compound because then you lose traction. So maybe you try something like this. I think actually Ongaro might have run this. I can't remember. Or was it Robert? So maybe you can try a bigger block like this, the Enduro. So you can still run the softer compound, but the tire lasts longer. Liam, do you remember what we ran? So you go from an impact to an enduro, and the reason is you want to stick to a softer compound that has the traction, but you want longer tire life. The other benefit of a tire like this is you can run the softer compound because the tread is so big, the blocks are so big they don't bend. And when the pin doesn't bend, it gives you more traction and a more direct feel. So when you run the enduros, you tend to be able to run a softer compound than you would with, say, an impact. Another tire you could consider in those situations would be the chain link. Very similar idea. So because the pins are lower and it's this kind of wide lug style, they're not going to bend and deform. So you can again run a softer compound. Tire wear isn't as good as on the enduro, but yeah, you can get away with running a softer compound. Yeah, just what I said. So we ran soft impacts in qualifying, and then for the mains, long way soft. But all these like enduros or chain links, or even for different sort of loamy track where you run a city block or I-beam, it's all good. It's all fine, but you can just run the impact. Just keep it simple. Every single track I go to, try something different. Oh, this feels awesome. Put the impact back, dialed. So, yeah, impacts, they'll just work. I've had good luck with Catapult. I don't really like that tire. Chain link are great on oil track. Yes. Yes, the tire that I think out of all the tires that I've had the most luck, which is not called Impact, is actually chain link. Because it's a very neutral tire. It doesn't want to flip over, has good traction in all directions, but it's not edgy. It has a bit less steering, so it makes the car easier to drive. So sometimes I'll just kind of like to have some chain links lying around. If I'm feeling that the Impact is hard to drive, maybe I'll try the chain link and I'll be dialed again. Enduro are also easy to drive, forgiving tire, very good for beginners. Yes, that's true. They'll work when Impacts work, but they're just easier to drive. But for me, since I'm racing, I look at lap times and I'm slow with Enduros. For the average guy, for the hobby racer, the easiest tire to drive would probably be the I-beam, front and rear, for most tracks. So you get I-beams, you put them on the front and on the rear, and that will be the easiest your car will be to drive. Probably on almost every track. They won't be the fastest, but they'll most likely be the easiest. So when I said that you should always get gridirons and impacts, that's it. That's if you race and really care about your lap times and results and you want to do the best you can. If you just want an easy car to drive, you want to have fun, not make mistakes, just kind of go for it and have some beers and laughs, and just get I-beams. Put I-beams on the front and rear. Don't worry about what other people are running, because this is going to be the easiest tire to drive. Front and rear, I-beam. Probably soft compound would be good for like 80% of the time. Then when it gets hot, long way soft. Maybe when it's cold, super soft. Yeah. What else? I've sort of covered tread pattern for AKA. I've covered compound. Foams. We run the red foam pretty much always. I think sometimes, if it's very cold, the foam gets very hard. You can actually feel like it's really hard. So there's these, I'll get some foam. I'll show you. So when it's cold and the foam is hard, and especially if you run a small tire like a Typo, what you might want to do is you cut this rib here. You just cut it so it's flat or almost flat. So you cut the whole thing off. Snip all of those off, which makes the foam lower and it will feel a lot softer in the tire. Some people also make holes in them, but I can't tell a difference. It's a lot of work and I can't tell a difference, so fuck that. Just cut the rib and you're good to go. So you might want to do that when it's cold weather because the foam gets really hard. So say like winter time at Thunder Rally, the track is really bumpy and it's loose. You might want to try that. Softer foam. Neo Buggy, same thing. You're running Typos, it's cold, small tire, just cut that foam. AKA also have a black foam that we never run. Maybe some people sometimes, but it's never going to be like significantly better than that. If someone says it is, then it's just like, what's that word for medicine that doesn't work? There's a word for that. It works because your mind thinks it works. You know what I mean. Come on, someone comment. What is that called? Placebo, exactly. If you end up running the black foams for AK, it's placebo. They should call it the placebo phone. Okay. Now everyone's just placebo, placebo, placebo. Moto tire. Yeah, moto tire is just like these Italian kids who have talent. They'll run any fucking tire. Tire sucks, man. I don't understand. Fucking flips over as soon as you think about turning. It's like if you just bash and don't run on a track, then run the moto tire. Yeah, if you're talented, maybe you can get away with it, but I don't get it. I don't endorse the moto for racing. I seriously don't. Do I balance tires? Yes, look, I just found this thing. AKA wheel balancing thing. How does this work? I haven't used this, I use another one. I can't even use this. Is it the other way? Is there like a part missing? I don't know. I do balance tires, but only if they are really out of balance and really annoys me, or if I'm at a big race. So, yeah, it does make a difference. But I don't know, I can't quantify it in lap times, but yeah, it makes this minor difference. Have you tried the Pro Concepts tire? I forgot all about that shit. That was actually fun. Yeah, we can talk about that too. So balance. You know how to balance a tire. If you want to know how to balance a tire, please message Adam Drake. He will make a video showing you how to balance a tire. Okay? I don't have time for that fucking elementary shit. Talk about big issues here in this show. So, message Adam Drake. He's gonna balance a tire for you. Guarantee it. So yeah. Stiffeners. Stiffeners was a thing and then it just wasn't a thing anymore. Stiffeners, I almost feel like the AK stiffeners is just adding more weight. Adding more weight to the wheel. Seriously. That's what it does. Stiffer tires, I mean stiffer wheels helps, but then you kind of get a stiffer wheel. Like another brand stiffer wheel. And you'll notice very high grip, hot weather. It will just be more consistent, round the corners. I feel like the stiffener you put in here, it doesn't really stiffen it, it just adds weight. It's a similar effect, but not quite the same. Okay, so let's move on. I feel like we covered the basics there. If you have any questions, ask them. But now there are two things I needed to talk about. So copying, tread designs, and what was the other thing? I just read it here. Oh, the Pro Concepts. Yeah. AstroTurf. You know what? AstroTurf is so... It's just terrible. I know nothing about it. I just know you need a really plasticky tire with pins and you cut 98% of them off. So, that's all I know about Astro. Tread design copying. I actually wouldn't want to be a tire designer right now. Like, let's say I made a JQ tire brand. I basically know I need a hole shot, I need an impact, I need a fugitive, and I need... What else? So I need a hole shot, small pin. Then I need like a typo thing for indoor clay. It's 2. Then I need the impact, like medium-sized pin. Then I need the fugitive, or maybe like the fugitive light. So it's a pin between the small and the medium pin, but a lot of them. So it's a versatile tire. Then I might need something like the I-beam. Now how the hell am I going to do those so they aren't a copy of the existing tires? That's difficult. It's not easy. But It is possible. Because almost, can I say almost all? Someone's going to fact check me on this now. But my feeling is that if you go and look at J-Concepts tires, then almost all of them will be unique to J-Concepts. Enough to where you look at it and you're like, that's a J-Concept. You aren't like, look at these fucking idiots, they just copied whatever. And so it is possible to do. It just takes, you just have to do it. You have to think about it. You have to put in the work. And you can do tires which aren't a rip-off of someone else. The ideas probably are, by this time, there are so many treads out there. Like the main idea behind the tire is going to be the same as someone else's. But you don't have to make it look the same. Like, come on, Raw Speed. You don't have to make the exact same tread or VP Pro. What the? Like, come on. You can just use your imagination. Do something. And I feel J-Concept tends to do that. Like, they have the diamond-shaped pin. Like, no one else has that. That's unique to J-Concept. You see that, you're like, that's JC. Or what else? They have a bunch of those, which just look different. The idea is the same. Like, the conditions you would use, the tire is the same as the other, but it looks different. Or like, well, AKA, I think, made this tire first, Enduro. Then Proline comes out with one, big blocks. Just fucking, come on. Really? Looks just like it. So I think, yeah, when AKA came out, they had the unique, like, city block, and they had the unique treads. Then they had some which were the same, like, Cross Brace was like a Crown Fighter. But yeah, tire brands now, I think they need to step it up and do their own thing. How much stuff made in the same factory? I don't know. I actually heard that one major tire brand started making tires in the same factory as another major tire brand in America. So yeah, I think it does happen. What else? Pro Circuit. Pro Circuit. I had forgot about all of that. Drama. Huge drama back in, it was this year, April. Holy cow. Now, what can we learn from that? Two things. Well, I shouldn't say two. It might be three. First, we can learn that tires make a difference. Tires really make a difference. It's more so the compound than the tread. The compounds actually are different company to company. So you can be at a track on a surface in conditions where your company's tire just is not as good as someone else's. What drama? The drama when Ty Tessman, who was sponsored by Proline, who after Proline had sent out a group Facebook message or email or something saying that, come on drivers, if you're sponsored by Proline, you have to run Proline. If you run something else than Proline, we're going to fire your ass. That's basically what they said. And then Ty goes to Neo Buggy, he's struggling, he runs a different tire brand because he's convinced that the other guys are faster because they have different tires. That was the drama. Then some sneaky photographer got a picture and no one was going to say anything, and I'm like, this is fucking bullshit, so I wrote a blog about it. And then half the world hated me and the other half thought this was cool and this was interesting, and thanks JQ for writing a story. That was that drama. So what can we learn from that? We can learn that tires make a difference, a big enough difference to where a top driver will want to run another brand because the tires make a difference. And they are now at a disadvantage. They want to run another brand which is clearly better in those conditions. So that's one thing we learn. Second thing we learn is it really works. Ty didn't win. He sucked in the main and finished wherever he finished. Probably the same as he would have done with the tyres he ran. And he didn't even run the tyres that actually won the race, aka won. He ran J Concepts. I don't know who is the top J Concepts. I can't remember. So anyway, point being, the tyres didn't help. Doing that didn't help. So we can learn that too. You may feel like you want to change your tyre sponsor. You may feel like you want to run a different tyre brand. But it's most likely not going to help. If you are running a top brand like Proline, aka or J Concepts, you can look at the race results and you can see that Ronefalk, Cavalieri and Mayfield, Rivkin, Savoya, they all run J Concepts and they win races all over the world. Then you can look at Ongaro, Thibaut, Battle, me, and Lutz. You can see AKA winning races all over the world. You can look at Proline, Boots, help me out here, Drake, all the Proline guys, fuck, I don't remember. They're winning races all over the world. I'm not going to touch the lesser tyre brands right now. So those three, they have demonstrated they can win in all conditions on all tracks. Yes, there will be differences. Sometimes some other tyre will feel better than another. But the solution isn't to change to that tyre. The solution is to look at what you have and adjust and adapt your setup to those tyres. Or maybe make a smarter compound and tread choice. So adjust to maximize the performance of your tyre compound and tread, your foam. Maybe you have to cut the foam like I explained. Maybe you have to adjust your setup. Maybe you need a bit more grip. Maybe you reduce camber a bit. Maybe there's something else you can do to the setup. Maybe you just lighten the shock oils just a bit. Or change the alignments on the arms just a bit to get the car to have more grip. So you can just adjust your setup to the available traction. That's what you should do. Not look at what other people are doing and switch tires. It's a dumb thing to do. So just maximize the performance of the equipment you have. That's what you should do. Okay. You have to start pronouncing that L in David Ronefalk, man. Okay, I will. Got you. So that's that. What else? Is there anything else to say about tires? Have we covered this now? Revelation Raceway. That's a good one where I feel like people are running the wrong compound because it's loose. The track is loose, so people always run super soft. But it's strange, man. When it's hot, daytime, soft just has more grip. I don't know. It's weird. You should try it. When is a good time to take a shit, before or after the mains? I feel like before the mains, normally you get nervous and then you can kind of go. So you should definitely go before the mains. Black round Pirelli. Holes. Where to punch holes. That's another Adam Drake video. You want to know how and where to punch your holes in your tires? Message Adam Drake. Just spam that guy, dude. He's going to make a 5-minute video about how to punch your holes in tires. Okay? I'm pretty sure he can handle that for you. Additive. I don't know. Sticky kicks for 10 scale. Probably works in 8 scale too. I don't like running additive. Feels like if I go to the fall brawl, I'm going to have to though. How to glue tires. Oh, there's a bunch of those videos. I've been thinking about doing a funny video about gluing tires. I think I'll do it. I'll do it one day. One day I'll do a video how to glue tires. There's a lot you can do there. Mayfield's tire gluer. Yeah, Mayfield isn't very good at gluing tires. He was trying to give some excuse that there wasn't enough time or some bullshit. I just think he sucks at gluing tires. Fucking tires flying off. Can't have that. Tire inflation and how to stop it. Well, I mean, if you have holes there, then that's it. If you mean ballooning, then run a harder compound. Yeah, or thicker diffs. You think it makes a difference where you punch the holes on the tires? That's also this placebo thing. Let's put it this way. If someone tells you that punching the hole there or there or there actually makes a difference, then those are the same people that say that with a cab forward body, you have more steering and hairpins. At that point, you know that this person has no fucking clue what they're talking about. Because the downforce at fucking 2 kilometers an hour in a hairpin is that much. Naught. Zero. And it's not like the weight of the cab being slightly forward gives that much more grip on the front tires that it's going to somehow... No, it's a visual thing. It looks different. The car physically looks different with a different body. It just looks different. It's placebo, man. Same with those holes. Punch them wherever. Put 2 holes or 4 holes or whatever. Just make sure that you have holes there. Make them in a zigzag pattern. I don't care. It's not going to make a difference. When do you cut pins off and why? That's good. Let's do that. I like that question. Ricardo Villorio is trying to video call me. He should be watching this. I'm disappointed. So again, what's wrong with this guy? This guy's nuts. Let's say you're on a track and the car feels edgy, wants to flip over. Look, I cut the outside row off there. Less likely to catch sideways. Cut the inside row off also, it helps even more. So it's going to slide a bit more. Say you have a tire like City Block here. A lot of pins there. A lot of shit going on. If you cut here in the middle, you cut those pins off and you just leave the bars with bigger spacing so the center is more open. You'll actually have more forward bite because the tire can dig in more. You can do the same on the Enduro. You see how the tread is really close together here? So you could cut, for example, 2 blocks off there, then 2 blocks there, then 2 blocks there, then 2 blocks there, and make like a zigzag pattern, and always 2 blocks missing, left, right, left, right, left, right. It will open up the tread more. You'll have more grip in dust. So let's say there's a clean line and then dust on the side of that. If you go into the loam offline, you'll have more grip because there's more room here for the tire to dig in. And even on the line, you'll have slightly more forward bite, but tire wear will be higher too. So that's when I would cut pins. It's actually underrated. Like, people don't think to cut pins. They just think like, oh, this tire sucks and I have to change. But maybe if they just cut the pins a bit, it's a lot of work, I know, but it makes a big difference. It could be worth it. What else? How long do you run a new set of tires? Well, I mean, completely depends on the track and the conditions. Sometimes you can run a set Sometimes new tires won't be any faster on the track. And you can just run the same set throughout qualifying. And then tend to put new ones on for the main, and you do the main with them. And then after that, tires are good for club racing or practicing or whatever. Some tracks, new tires just are the best, and then you just have to put new ones on for each qualifying run. Biggest drawback with mixing treads front and back, as in I-beam front and city block rear. Well, you've got that backwards, my friend. I find either you run I-beams front and rear, which is, as I said, the easiest to drive everywhere, but you have less steering. Then to get the steering back, you would run the I-beam in the rear and city block in the front. So then the front would turn, but the rear wouldn't catch. You have less sideband. So front turns and rear slides. So you have a lot more steering. But both tires are big, same carcass, so the car feels really balanced. Good in bumps, good grip in dust. It has more steering than I-beam. And yeah, so that's the way you would run it. Well, another thing we never spoke about was mixing compounds. That can also sometimes work. I actually haven't done it now for a while, so I couldn't give you an exact... I can't give you exactly what it would do and how to do it. I mean, initially I would think that you would do it like this. You would put a harder compound on the front because you want the car to be easier to drive and not so edgy and grabby. So you put the harder compound on the front, softer in the rear. So you have more grip on the rear, and also front tires tend to wear out quicker. So you'll have more even wear longer into the final, because the front tire is harder and lasts longer. So yeah, compound is something you could also try. I mean, that's more so for mains than qualifying. So longer runs, for A mains or whatever, maybe you would put a harder compound on the front and a softer on the rear. That's the way I would do it. Maybe someone has tried it here recently and can tell me I'm an idiot, but that's what I think. Have any time your tire glue come off in any race? Yes. I had my tire come off at the Worlds in Argentina in my final. I was bumping up from the quarterfinal and my tire came off. That really pissed me off. At that time I just cleaned my tires, and then after that, for the big races, I would Dremel them too. There was a really freak incident with it coming off. And just one, on one side, that's it. So weird. What's the best tire glue to sniff? I think the AKA actually is really good. I mean, the AKA tends to be the one that gets stolen the most. Every time I go to the track, I have a lot of glue because all these team drivers, especially the Schmee concepts ones, Schmee concepts, especially those guys, for whatever reason, they really like the AKA glue. So I have quite a few of those sorts of customers. And you can also sniff it really well. So I recommend it. I noticed that my right tire pressure was 1.5 psi off. Maybe you just cut the foam differently. Catching up with comments here. Different compounds back and front. Yeah, we just covered that. Is this it? What's your thoughts on running one specific tire, i.e. impact everywhere and go, and then change the car setup to match track conditions? Well, if you just run for fun and you want to do as well as you can and you're on a budget, then yes, do that. But I still would maybe recommend you get two, like a small pin and a medium pin. But you can't always change your setup Like, to get the best results, you can't change your setup and run the same tire always. You need to run the best tire for each condition and then the best setup for that condition. So it's like, can you drive for 5 minutes in a qualifier within half a second of your best lap and not make a mistake? Can you then drive for 20 minutes in a final and not crash and do like 4 5-minute runs back to back to back to back, basically? If you can do that, then yes, you really have to pick the right tire. If you can't do that, then to be honest, yes, just run the same tire everywhere and adjust your setup, because you obviously can't do 5 minutes clean. So what's that finding the right tire going to do for you? Nothing. Just run the same tire, be comfortable with it, and once you start to be consistent, then start playing to find the best possible tire. If you run the same tire all the time, you'll be more comfortable and you'll make less mistakes, and probably that's going to be better for you than switching around tires and crashing into things. So yeah. Schmedium concepts. Tire traction compound gets a better high. Yeah, I'm not into sniffing those. If we get enough people asking, would you come over to New Zealand to race? Your distributor here is a good bugger. You would love it here. I mean, it's not really about the asking. It's about the cash money. It's really expensive to fly to New Zealand. It takes like a week and it costs $12,000. So that's the problem with New Zealand. Why did you have to make your country so far away from everything? Have you tried ride height with motor cold and then the front moves up 3 mil when hot? When the motor is cold, the front ride height is different. The fuck are you talking about? This Canadian guy has lost his mind. Ever think we'll have air pressured tires in 8-scale off-road? No, I don't think so. Really don't think so. What was your biggest concern when choosing tires at Eskilstuna? My biggest concern with choosing tires at Eskilstuna was making sure that they were impacts. Because I ran impacts the whole race. Just different compound impacts. People were going nuts, and I was just going steady Eddie, consistent results with my trusty impacts. Then for the mains, I just cut my impacts a bit, and that was it. Then in the A main, actually, semi and A both, like, tire choice, probably chose the wrong compound. I ran long way medium. I should have run long way soft. Sun wasn't out. It wasn't as warm. I made a mistake. Then I tacoed my chassis and my front dog bone. Things just didn't go my way. Show your afro. Dude, I did a whole over an hour show with my Colin Kaepernick afro to try and defend as many Africans, as many Americans as I could. It's pretty good. I'm gonna cut this thing off tomorrow. This is the last you see of my afro. So I hope you enjoyed that. Which way do I turn my hat? It's weird. Everything's the opposite. How do you feel about track watering and tire selection? God, that's a loaded question. Track watering should be banned. Unless it's a really shitty track and it needs it. But races like Nitro Challenge are so difficult. Because there's like 12 hours between your runs. First of all. So the conditions are completely different. You are running at dawn, then you're running at like afternoon, sun blazing down, and then you're running at night. Or you might be running like just when the sun is going down. You aren't sure, like, is it going to be light or is it going to be dark? Like, is it going to be completely damp or is it going to be dry? And it's just such a mess. You really don't know what to expect. That's why I would run just the soft impact, because it's safe. It's a safe bet. It's always going to be good. For conditions where it's a complete mess and a circus and you don't know what to expect, you need to know what a safe tire is. Which is compound and tread that works in all the possible scenarios. So a wet track, a dry track, a mixed track, it needs to work in those. And that's what you run. Then when you know for sure, okay, the sun's down, track's wet, I'm going to run this. But in America, you don't even know then, because this is how they do. So they water every single race, and then after each main, the track is obviously bone dry. So they water before every race. But then for the pro buggy main, they don't water. And then you're already chosen your tires and you understand. Then they're like, no one goes out there to water. You're like, what the fuck? They just watered for like 5 days, every single race. And then for the main event, they didn't water the track. They left it dry. You're like, for fuck's sake. So then it's just a lottery, like, I don't know. Stupid. Thanks for this video. It's been very helpful with tire decisions. Cheers. Thank you, Kent. I really appreciate your positive feedback. You know, I did the 3-minute Drake thing, but it just didn't work out, so I ended up doing an hour-plus video on tire selection. But thank you, Kent. Talk us about what you have been watching at high-level races about tires being handled to drivers different than those that were being sold. I mean, different kind of rubber, etc. Does that happen? What's your opinion? Yes, it does actually happen. It's not as... Most of the time, it's not as big of a deal as you think. Now that we have the long wear compounds, it's not as big of a deal as you think. Like before, let's say you were running the compounds companies sold, and your tires would be bald, and the other guy running the tire that looks the same has like half the tread left. Well, you know something fishy is going on there. That's because they have a long wear compound that you don't have. Now, J Concepts has like 87 different compounds, and then they have another additional 116 that are just like secret team compounds. So Proline, I feel, is almost there, but they aren't on the level of J Concepts. Let's be honest here. AKA can't even keep the basic compound in stock, so I find it hard to believe that they would have any kind of special team compounds. Very rarely, I think. I think it's similar to changing brands. Like you have a tire, at this point, because there are enough compounds to always work, you have a tire, you know, it doesn't do what you want, you think about going to another brand. That's kind of like some driver having some special compound, you think that's better. It probably isn't at this point. A few years ago, yes, big difference. Now, I think it's rare. Could happen, but I wouldn't worry about it. Worry about what you're doing. Worry about your own shit, your own tires, your own car setup. Kick everyone's ass. Don't worry about what they're running. I don't. See? B Team 2014 shirt. I don't give a shit. At Neo, some Proline tires got handed out in zip bags. Sneaky. I don't know about that. Ribs on the front of two-wheel drive. Better than the treads. Outdoors, yes. Indoors, clay tracks, America. You probably want some treads. You do know your front ride height moves up 2 to 3 millimeters when your motor starts to get hot. Why would my front ride height go up when my motor gets hot? This intrigues me now. What does a motor temperature have to do with the front ride height? Do you mean when Ty was measuring his ride height with the motor running? Is that what you're talking about? Like, hey, I set my front ride height to 27 with 7,500 RPMs. The fuck is that all about? Give me a break. Shit. Jesus. Is it true that there's two kind of engines, the ones for pros and others for the rest of the people? Yes and no. Engine companies are always developing something. If your engine company is one that is kind of shitty and it always flames out, then yeah, the team driver is going to have one that runs. Because probably the engine company is actually going to check to make sure that the damn product works. Guess what I'm doing? This was supposed to be a short, easy one. Now you're getting me all fired up. I'm going to have to charge my phone. There we go. So, Reds, for example. Yeah, Boots has had special engines this way and that way. I'm unfortunately not on the A team, so I don't get that shit. Sometimes I get something special, like when they've already tried it. Or then I get something special that doesn't work. They're like, hey, we're going to try this thing, but it might not work. Let's send it to JQ. And they send it to me, and I'm like, hey, what the hell? I have this engine, I can't get it to run. And I'll just throw it away. Like that, we tried something different, it doesn't work. Thanks. That doesn't work. So I mean, sometimes they'll do something different, and team drivers will try it. And mostly that's then going to be the next engine they make. But a company like Reds, I think most of the time the drivers are running what you can buy. I really honestly think that. Right now they're about to release a new engine, so I would assume that Boots has been running it. So you haven't been able to buy it, but Boots has been running it. But now you can buy it. So now for a while, what we run is what you can buy. Special engines for special people. The green head engine is just the same engine, just had a green head. Why don't you just use your laptop for streaming vids? Because the camera on my laptop really sucks. I mean, one day we're going to go all pro and have like horizontal videos, and maybe I'll have another device where I can read comments. But you know, we're not at that point yet. We're not that far along here. You have traveled a lot, different countries, and one thing that can affect the driver's performance is the money that that driver may need to spend on a lot of tires in order to be competitive on really high wear tracks. What do you honestly think about the price of tires globally, and what do you think about the fact that non-sponsored drivers having to pay 200 euros on tires just to not have any disadvantage for those putting new tires every run? Is there any way then we can Man, you're too long-winded. Facebook cut you off. I think that a solution would be for the major races, like let's say World Championship, European Championship, and whatever other major race there is like that that's important. You would have a spec tire. You would have a spec tire, everyone runs that, and you would limit that amount, quantity. And that would save money. Because going to the Euros, it's really difficult, especially because you can't even buy the tires then at the race, which is insane. Like, why wouldn't the companies have tires available for people to buy? It's stupid. So you need to have the tires before the race. So you don't exactly know the weather, you don't exactly know what tires you need. So actually, if you want to be competitive, you need an absolute shitload of tires. And that's a lot of money. I feel like if you run for AKA, like I said before, you will kind of know what the track is like. So you can judge. Am I going to bring impacts and chain links and just a couple of gridirons if it rains, for example? Or am I going to bring typos and gridirons? You know, you kind of know, and you can get 2 treads and mainly 2 compounds and a bit of a 3rd compound. It's still a lot of money. It's still quite a lot. But it's at least possible to do. But you do have to limit yourself, yes. So I think for those big races, spec tire. For the smaller races, it's not as important. and you should be able to run whatever. I mean, the tire companies have to make a living too. But 1 race or 2 races a year with a spec tire, and then just rotate that tire, it's really not going to kill any companies. Yeah. There is the other, like Pavidis, his complaint towards spec tires, like World Championship, should be best drivers, best equipment, best everything. I can see that too. I can understand, like, a company wants to work towards winning the worlds. If it's a spec race, then no one's truly a world champion tire. Because when your brand is chosen, then yay, we won. Because everyone was running it. So there's that competition just goes out the window. So I can see that too. But the price is another thing. I don't know. Maybe another solution is just make tires available at events and make the prices reasonable. Sell tires like on a need to have basis somehow, like, I don't know, if the problem is that people go to a race and then just buy a shit ton of tires for the whole year, then just limit that. Like, you can only buy a certain amount. You bumped up, okay, you can buy a set of tires. Do something like that. Like, just make it affordable. Make tires available and affordable at the races. And then sell normal retail otherwise. I don't know. Like at certain big events that are really important, that people have a hard time attending and being competitive because it's so expensive. I mean, there must be some solution. What do I think about low profile engines? I haven't tried them. I don't know. Bro, you're not A-Team? What the fuck? Yeah, you know what, James? Why don't you spam AKA and Reds and tell them to give me some respect? I guess it's because I'm not winning the races, you know? I'm not Ryan Mayfield. I'm not Elliot Boots. I may promote products and sell products, and we may have hundreds of drivers worldwide running JQs who also run Reds and AKA because we run it and we promote it. But man, that just don't get it, do they? Not winning races, so not on the A-Team. No, we only make wheels for ready to run. I run AKA wheels. Any chance... Oh, I read the same comment again. That was about the wheels. Okay, here we go. Let's get to the bottom of this ride height thing. No, I mean we set our ride height when the car was cold, and for some reason when the motor got hot, we checked it again and the front moved up 3 mil on our car. Well, did you by any chance run your car, or did you just warm the engine up on your starter box? Because when you have cold shocks, then you run, then yes, the ride height can change. Because the shock oil is now thinner because it's warmer, if it's cold weather too especially, and that's going to be the ride height the car is at. So you might want to, in those conditions, run the car, check your ride height after the race and set your ride height to that, because that's the ride height your car is going to have. It's got nothing to do with the engine being hot. I haven't seen this on a C-Hub car. It can happen on a C-Hub car too. It's just those bullshit PBS systems are all bound up always. So it just sticks, you know, low. Sorry, dude. Sorry to break it to you. What if tire manufacturers sponsored events by being the spec tire and not drivers? Then give payouts to top winners rather than pay drivers monthly. I mean, if you can get tire brands to agree to that, I think it would be great. But I think you'll have a hard time doing that. Hashtag make tires cheap again. Yeah, I mean, you can probably buy dirt bike tires for the same price you can get 8-scale tires. And I guarantee motocross tires are more expensive to produce than RC tires. Guarantee. And the mold too is incredibly expensive for tires. I mean motocross tires compared to RC. After a mold is done, each tire set is giving you that company more money than you are getting by selling 50 euros in parts. Oh, for sure. Proline does sell at events for less than you can buy over the counter, I think he meant. Yeah, Proline and AK in America, they tend to sell tires at the events for cheap. Probably emulsion shocks and the air heated up. Yes, maybe. Perfect, thanks Bug. Just wanted to know if you've seen this. Yeah man, I've seen that. Drake would have been done an hour ago talking e-buggy tires. Go! Let's be done with this. I think we covered this topic. Gridirons, impacts, enduros, city beams, typos, chain links. Super soft, soft, long way soft. Holes don't matter. Punch them wherever you like. Just like the cab forward, more steering hairpins. Complete bullshit. E-buggy.